Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today I'm going to give you my review of Pericles by William Shakespeare. So this will be the third part in my series of reviewing the final few Shakespeare plays that I have yet to read. Pericles, Prince of Tyre is not a comedy and not a tragedy, it's a romance, a genre that Shakespeare really preferred to write towards the end of his writing career. So plays like The Tempest or The Winter's Tale also fit into the category of a romance, in terms of there are some comic elements, there are some tragic elements, but it is not necessarily a tragedy. Things do tend to wrap up in a happy ending, but there is also heavy elements of adventure and magic to some degree. These plays often almost feel like fairy tales. This was also a play that was not originally Shakespeare's. A playwright named George Wilkins wrote the first two acts and then abandoned it, leaving Shakespeare to pick it up later, augment it, and stitch together all 5 acts. It is based in ancient mythology and follows Pericles, Prince of Tyre, who starts out trying to woo the daughter of, I've heard it pronounced Antiochus, I have always pronounced it Antiochus. Let me know down below. But the king of Antioch, the ancient kingdom, and he has to woo her in rather a Turandot-like fashion, or Turandot, however you pronounce that particular myth, in terms of he must answer a riddle correctly in order to win her hand. If he does not, he will be killed. And many suitors have gone before him and failed, but Pericles is determined that he is going to try. However, he soon figures out the meaning of the riddle, which is that Antiochus and his daughter are having an incestuous relationship with one another. He figures this out. He doesn't quite let on that he knows, because he can't outright mention it, but he gives enough hints that Antiochus realizes that Pericles knows exactly what's going on. And Pericles realizes this and realizes that Antiochus is probably willing to have him killed to keep his secret safe. So Pericles spends the next several years on a ship going from place to place trying to outrun Antiochus's wrath. Right there, you'd think that's enough to develop into a full-blown play. But no, Pericles goes on to have many, many more adventures. And this is the point where I reach a rather difficult decision, because I'd like to tell you more about the plot. But since it is a lesser-known play, I feel like I can't say too much more without giving any spoilers. But I can say that there are storms, shipwrecks, deaths, revivals, a very interesting section in Acts 4 and 5 musing on the morality of brothels and the government's hand in letting them flourish, and some wonderful musical moments. It's really an incredible mixture. I would agree with the editor of my edition here that says that this play does not have the same kind of psychological depth that many of his other ancient-based plays do, or indeed that many of his other plays do, generally speaking. However, the story that those characters are able to tell is really gripping and really moving. I also enjoyed how much the female characters got to do, how much Tyre was in charge of her own destiny, how much Marina was in charge of her own destiny, and how strong she was, and how able and willing she was to fight for herself and her place in the world, and for her own autonomy. If you are curious about this play, I would definitely recommend it, and it has risen in my estimations since I watched a production of it. I watched the BBC television movie starring Mike Gwilym as Pericles, whom I had not heard of before, but he did a wonderful job. In addition, many other stars show up that rather took me by surprise, such as Annette Crosby, Juliet Stevenson, Clive Swift, who you may know as Richard Bucket or Bouquet from Keeping Up Appearances, and Trevor Peacock, who you may recognize as Jim from The Vicar of Dibley. This is a play much better seen than read. It makes all of the dialogue really come to life. They are able to show you the shipwrecks and all of the different places that Pericles visits, and his transformation as he ages. It really is a sweeping fairy tale with a wonderful happy ending. And if you're in the mood for a Shakespearean fairy tale, definitely give Pericles a try. Until next time, be safe, be well, and happy reading. Bye everyone.